Hi, welcome. I'm Taiza,
And I'm Lissa.
and we are here to do a class, or a web series, I guess, whatever you want to call it, pick a name, on owning your power. And it's owning your own power. It's all about being a spiritual, integrous being in a world that is constantly encouraging you to give your power away. So it's dealing with the entire field of who you are. And if that sounds interesting at all, or even just slightly curiosity rousing, if that rouses your curiosity, you're in the right place.
Yay.
So we're going to do a brief introduction. Do you want to go first?
Well, introduction of myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Who are you? Why are you here? Why am I here?
I am Lissa Walsh, and I have spent the last 30 years cloistered in my house as a mother of four, best kept secret. And in the midst of all my years of aiding and assisting my children to gain their path, I've also been on a personal journey of I've taken that time to adventure into the depths of the metaphysical fields, comparative religions, and at the same time as I've been practicing these theories in a variety of wonderful, exciting, tragic dramas in my life. So I've had a chance to practice a lot of these things, and it's so wonderful for me to find Tasia so that we're able to have conversations at a profound level that allows me and her to help, fine tune the things that we've learned on our own.
Right. And these classes are actually based on conversations we've had together, of observations we've made of our worlds and how they've interwoven, and things we've noticed in ourselves and people that we've worked with closely, things that worked for us and things that didn't work for us, and more of a distinguishing process than judging, just getting really clear, discerning what I like, what I don't like in the world. So my name is Tasia, and I'm from Utah. I have a long line of family that has started with the Pilgrims, and then they converted to Mormonism and went to Utah, and it seems that I have a family that is constantly pioneering the correct path, or looking for their own spiritual truth, whether it be in black and white clothes that look really austere by our standards today, or pink hair and purple hair, whatever self-fulfillment I'm looking for. So I was living a very what I would consider a very normal middle-range life, and then one day I realized it wasn't working for me, and I was ready just to throw it all away. And then I did, in a sense, throw a lot of things away or let them fade away, and I've been on a quest to find who I am and what matters to me, and my life's been pared back to what absolutely has the greatest integrous value for me. And I've watched myself peel like an onion and done lots and lots of crying in the process. So this class is a lot of what I find unwinding for myself and in conversations with Lissa. So we met each other online through a common group, and we've worked in a couple different groups together and just really resonated. So we've done an in-life workshop with each other, basically, informally, and a lot of this information has come out of that process. So.
And I should add that I've been out of my deepest dramas for a while now, so I have this wisdom. I have a level of wisdom and experience that I've collected that I find when I have conversations with Tasia, who's still kind of in the midst of things, that I have perspectives that are can be very helpful to her and people like her who are in these situations. I should also add that I'm from north of Boston, so I might have a little bit of a wicked sense of humor and attitude. So, tell it like it is, which is good. Saves time. You ask me.
Right. Yeah, there will be things we'll just say. So.
Right. And I'm from recent. My ancestors came to America just a generation ago, so a little bit of old world, but that's.
So I feel like we're kind of opposites in some ways. I'm in the middle. She's experienced stuff. And one of the things that really resonated was I love her guidance, I love her input, but I realize at the end of the day it's all my decision. So guidance is great, and I'm not expecting anyone to do it for me. And that's one of the things I want you to know. This class is made to give you information, and you can take it or you can leave it. You can find your own value, or even if it doesn't seem valuable, then maybe it's not for you, and that's absolutely fine. You're allowed to take and leave what fits for you, what suits you. So that's a basic introduction to who we are. This class has 5 parts, and we're just going, this first class is just an introduction because, you know, when you're looking at a car, you know whether you want to test drive that car or not. So this is the, you know, like, test drive to see if you want to keep going through the other 4 sessions of this. So this first one, we're going to talk about what owning your power might look like. We're going to talk about constructs of the world, maybe a little bit of challenging reality for you. And then in the second class, we're going to talk about spiritual integrity and energetic integrity, mostly energetic integrity, with some leanings towards spiritual. And then that's the second class. The third class is the alchemical
composting.
The alchemical process of composting. Very interesting. The third one is about balancing shadow and light so that you can have a clean slate. I think it had an easier name than that, but that's what I'm remembering it as. And the 5th class is on the field of possibilities. So we will go into more detail at the end of this. I just wanted to give you a brief expectation of how the class is laid out so that as you're watching this, if you're wondering where we're going, that's fine. No, we do have an outline, even if it seems jumbled and chaotic, because life and processes can seem jumbled and chaotic, so it's perfect. So we're ready to start. You ready?
Yes.
Yes. The first thing to look at is think about your world and how it's constructed and what you accept are truths. So a lot of people accept their interpretation of books like the Bible, or there may be other scriptural referencings, the Bhagavad Gita. I can think of several, the Dharma teachings of Buddha. There's so many. I feel like I'm staggering here. Help me.
Well, there are classic writings. There's a lot of new types of books that people are considering classic, Course in Miracles, or there's so many esoteric, metaphysical, spiritual books that are available. And people find what resonates with them usually, and they stay with things for a while. And we kind of see it. Taiza and I were talking the other day. It's like the pole of an umbrella that or a stake that we put in the ground, and we organize ourselves around this stake of beliefs and practices. And sometimes we pick up our stake and we move it over, or we abandon that stake completely and we try something different, which is easier to do these days, to decide to change religions or to decide to change practices. Or perhaps you've never done that. Perhaps, you know, anybody listening, you may have stayed with one thing for a lifetime, but you're curious. Things are happening. You know, the world is kind of getting shaken up right now. It's a good opportunity.
Right. So looking at what those stakes might be, it's your system of beliefs. It's what you use to anchor yourself in the world. So if you were born into a certain way of life, a certain culture, certain religions, the Bible is really coming to me. So there's people that believe that the world's only been around. I have lean-in problems. There's people that have only been around that will say that the world's only been around for 6,000 or 7,000 years, and the dinosaur bones were implanted to give people doubts. And they may really, really believe those. They may passionately believe in those things. And the idea of the Big Bang or different constructions of reality. Like, are there aliens? Are aliens among us? Are there reptile people with us? And that's outside most people's experiences and how they see their life. Most of us go to work, make money, pay bills, have a place we eat, or have a place we live, we eat our meals, we live our day-to-day lives, we have our transportations, we may even have our fixed routes and our fixed routines. There's very systematic ways in the ways that we live, and we box ourselves in all the time. We live in boxes, and if we get kicked out of a box, often it's like we start looking for another box to live in. I was born into a religion that no longer served my need, and I immediately went and started looking for another religion, which then I outgrew or didn't resonate with or had some doubts, and so I left that box and I started looking for another box, and not having some kind of anchor felt really discombobulating and so scary, just terrifying to me. And so many people right now, like what Lissa was just saying, where there's a great upset, where there's a lot of tumultuous feeling, and you can feel it, and you don't know what's going on, and like the shifts between Bernie Sanders, and he's not even getting any media coverage, and people are saying how strange it is that one of the major presidential candidates, it's currently September.
No, it's June.
I don't know why it's September. June 17th. And so Bernie's still in the running, but just barely. And he's not gotten any decent media coverage. Everything that he has is on the internet. And it's very strange because thousands and thousands and thousands of people turn up for his rallies, and never in the history of the world, of the U.S., I'm being a little dramatic, would he not be seen? Can you imagine Reagan not getting any airtime? Kennedy not getting any airtime? Whether Kennedy was outstanding for his day, and he still was covered by the media. So what kind of world have we moved into where the media just completely sidesteps one of the major candidates that the people are paying attention to? And then Trump is getting a lot of attention, and people are watching him, and the media is all over it. And it's just very interesting how there's this gigantic split where there's it's almost like two bookends of what people want. And it's, on one side you want the conservative values in however that looks, and the other a whole new paradigm of shifting more power to the people and maybe reclaiming some of the U.S. government from the corruption that's out there. Our government is being bought, and that is pretty just much something that people just have accepted. And it's really strange to me that people talk about it openly. They know our politicians are in big corporations' pockets. And it's just, that's how it is. And it's just, fine. Is that what happened to our pool of belief? How did we get to a place where something so obvious that the corruption's not even trying to veil itself? It's not even trying to. It doesn't even have to hide.
It's being revealed. It's absolutely being revealed right now.
It is being revealed, right. But I feel like it feels so comfortable with itself, it's not even trying to hide. It's just what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything. We all know. Everyone's got this pole of belief. There's no expansion going on. We're stuck here. Mm-hmm. So, these are things that are happening, and there's so many things. And, the people's obsession with the zombie apocalypse, I think is really fascinating, because it's like, people talk about it, people watch these shows, and I know people that are planning, what will I do if there's a zombie apocalypse? And medically speaking, it's very outlandish and doesn't really fit into the pole of belief, or that pole of belief, do you actually have a pole of belief that there's a zombie apocalypse? And if you do, that's fine. But just to open that up, and maybe it's imagine, some type of, what am I trying to say?
I think it plays, the idea of the zombie apocalypse plays on people's fears that stuff's going to go wrong really badly, and that they have to be ready for it. What would it be like to live in that kind of survival mode? Of not having grocery stores or electricity or, gasoline, having to create new societies and everything. I think it just plays on people's fears in that way. So it's the idea of, what we were talking about was the idea of things are starting to get wobbly. The different stakes in the ground that we've had for our different beliefs have, they're just, the ground itself is getting shaky. And I have a different experience from having grown up in a town that has, you grew up in an area that the entire area was pretty much one religion. But I grew up on the East Coast with, in a town that had a very big Jewish community, a very big Greek Orthodox community, a Roman Catholic community, and I grew up Protestant. So, I grew up in an area where there are a lot of different ways to look at the same basic topic of God and what is religion and what is right and what's proper, and so I have an idea. I have a better feeling, I guess, of the idea that there are a lot of possibilities out there, and so we're here today to invite you to think of the whatever stake in the ground you have, to think of it as the pole of an umbrella, and to open up your minds into the umbrella of possibility of different that every spoke on an umbrella is a different religion, perhaps a different way of thinking. Perhaps it's an organized religion, perhaps it's not. It's a way of thinking. Maybe it's Buddhist practice or Muslim practice or
New Age thought.
New Age thought,
the Four Agreements, I like that, the Toltec approach.
Right,
or
shamanic stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people are interested in shamanic things.
Law of attraction, a lot of things from Hay House, and there's so many things that are out there.
Right. So it's the idea we're asking today for everybody to think of their minds as being like an umbrella. We're inviting you to open that umbrella to different perspectives. Eventually we're going to end this with the field of possibility, and in order to play in the field of possibility, it's kind of nice to have an open umbrella so that the entire field will open up for you instead of just a little place, a little corner somewhere. So
so I think I love the idea of an umbrella, but I feel like we're so conditioned to see things certain ways that sometimes when metaphors are introduced, we need to expand on what that is. So one of the things with the umbrella I'd like to think about is if it's raining and you're getting wet, there's a big downpour of something, and water usually, but anything can come from the skies.
Frogs.
The world is falling, the sky is falling.
Right.
You kind of want to shield yourself if there's some type of downpouring of something. And if you have a pole of belief, like if you have one set of beliefs, one structure of how you see the world, it doesn't give you a lot of coverage, and you're gonna get wet. But if you're willing to realize that for thousands and thousands of years, humans have pretty much taken their information from so-called masters. We've lived in a very hierarchical situation where information has come from the top and been disseminated down, down, down. Even trickle-down economics, if you're, lived during Reagan, the idea of it coming from the top and trickling down to the masses. It's very pyramid-shaped. It's very pyramidal. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to call it that. And so if someone says something that you're supposed to assume is true, then this is how we do it. This is our form of government. This is our monetary system.
These are our schools. This is how the church is set up.
This is the American dream.
Yeah, when you get a job, the guy in the corner office is going to tell you how it goes. You shouldn't be making decisions for yourself. It's not your place to be determining who you're supposed to be in the world. We already have a script. It's been tested. It worked for prior generations, so why would you set it aside, right? Get in line. Get in line. Behave yourself.
Behave yourself.
Right. I'm the authority. I'm the authority. I know what's best for you. We've got this figured out. We'll keep you safe.
We'll keep you safe. Work hard. If you want what you want in life, you have to work hard for it. You don't deserve it if you're not willing to work hard. Everybody knows that you do well in school, you go to college, you get a good paying job. Maybe if you want, you settle down with somebody that is a decent partner, have a couple kids, buy a house, get a car, be happy, pay off your bills. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, not anymore. My children are in their 20s and 30s, and it's just not how it's working. No,
but that's what we're still saying. That's how they're saying. No. See, and this is where there's a pull. There's a pull where you have a belief if there's a specific system or a specific schematic that you're supposed to be following, and it's not working anymore, and it's pouring down from the skies, and you're getting soaked, and you're stuck with something because it's not working. And so what we're saying with the umbrella, and you can take this analogy any way you want, so we're just trying to push you out of your box. Yes, we're trying. I don't know if we're even trying.
We're inviting.
Inviting, suggesting.
Inviting.
It's an invitation. That's true.
To join us in this discussion of
right.
thinking outside the box, of expanding umbrellas, collecting more umbrellas, right?
Popping your umbrella open, like I should have had one, but
I know. But it would have been difficult. But they're those big giant golf umbrellas you can fit 2 people under.
Or the little tiny ones you can put in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's bad
little
luck
hats.
to open them inside because, it might be bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old belief. But yeah, so if you pop open the umbrella, the little thing comes out that's like, shaped like an umbrella. And then when it downpours, you've got a shield. And what you could even, if you wanted to, extend the metaphor, you could see your umbrella as being able to catch new possibilities that are opening up. Maybe the sky is downpouring something that's never been seen before. Maybe there's potentiality for something completely different that doesn't come down from some pyramid-shaped authority figure.
Guess
right?
what? When you take your umbrella and you turn it upside down and you plant it in the ground, it's open to collect.
It is open
if you're grounded.
If you're wanting,
if you're grounded.
Right. If you're wanting to collect, or you can shield, and maybe you could even have an inverted, the wind blows it.
You could have a double one. Yeah.
There's, you can do anything you want with your umbrella.
Right.
You really can. You can open it, you can close it, you can hit people with it, although I wouldn't suggest it. So, yeah, thinking outside the umbrella here, and that's all about sleeping outside the box. Yeah, please also sleep outside the box.
We were also thinking about the idea of fixedness. There are so many things that are fixed.
Teal Swan has this amazing video that I've completely forgotten the name of. And I love Teal Swan. That's why my hair is teal. Just kidding, but I do like her. She's also from Utah. I thought that was funny. But in her video, she talks about fixedness. And she says that fixedness is nothing but agreed upon tendencies. So even fixedness is not really fixed. What's something that you think is a fixed tendency that we think in that's really just an agreed upon tendency?
Well, the one that's hot in my mind with 4 children is the idea that we all have to go to college and that's how you get ahead. Right. And it's such a fixed idea, and the system is in place that the kids start hearing about this in elementary school, about going to college and what do you want to be and what do you want to do, and they push you in that direction until you get to the end of college with all your loans, and then the system, that nobody helps you anymore. People are getting to the end of that system and saying, okay, I'm here, I graduated, what have you got for me? And that whole system on the other side is
but we still have this fixed idea that
it's still this fixed idea. Gotta go to college. Yeah.
And it's agreed upon tendency. Somehow, probably not consciously, we're all tending to believe that. We're all
gotta go.
Yeah,
it's gotta go into debt. So what we're inviting you to do now is the idea of fixedness being like Jell-O squares. They're so solid, but the more, if you know anything about Jell-O, the more liquid you add, the less fixed it is. And so we're inviting you to bring a little more liquid in, a little more, divine imagination and openness to help loosen up the fixedness in your life, and the life around you, and how you personally approach the world, because we can't control everybody else around us, but we can control ourselves. So
yeah, in fact, you're the only person you can really control, and even that's quite a bunch to wrestle in, because there's so many parts of you,
right?
And some of those parts have a great amount of intuitive knowing. At least I think this is true, so I'm going to tell you the truth according to Taiza. And there's a great amount of knowledge that we come born into this world with. And each person has a unique vibrational integrity. Each person has their own special soul, their own spirit, their own spiritual mix, their own lessons maybe that they want to learn. So I believe in reincarnation. I know there's people that believe in one lifetime. There's so many options out there, and I just want to expand what people think is possible, even if it's just for consideration. we live in a culture that loves to judge. I can't wait to see what people have to say about us and judge us. They're going to judge my glasses. They look a little crooked. My hair looks a little crazy. I already judged myself quite a bit before filming this. I was worried about my makeup, like all of these things. We love to judge. We are invited to judge. And honestly, most of our judgments are not original. They're trite. We think we're clever when we're offensive.
Well, we've been trained to judge a certain way.
Right.
Even how you
judge is like prescriptive. Like, if you're going to judge, try to be original. In fact, I would invite you. If you want to judge me, bring it on. Like, be as original as you can. I would love to see just how original you can be. How outside the box can you be? How much umbrella can you shake off and come up with something that's not like every other troll out there?
Because it'll give us an opportunity to practice composting.
Right, which is book 3. So you're going to help us with our own process. And that is so nice of you. So thank you. But we live in a very prescriptive way. And we've been so ingrained that we don't even know what we don't even know. And, there was a time when people believed in things like the evil eye, like superstitions like that. Can you give me the evil eye? I'm just curious. What do you imagine?
I don't know. Is it a look? I know you can do the Malukis. It's the Malukis, or no? That's the Malukis is something. That's the evil eye.
You gave me a really good evil eye.
I know, I'm really good.
Yeah,
I've been a mom.
And there were people that believed that could curse you. And in their scheme of things, we were all connected, and we could energetically impact each other, and we probably do. There was a book I was reading, I can't remember the name of, but it talks about how one of the greatest problems right now, or challenges, is disbelief. Because people believe so strongly in their disbelief, they don't even think about what it would be like to believe in something outside of their disbelief. You are stuck in disbelief. We're all stuck in disbelief. We are so ingrained with disbelief. Being skeptical and narrow-minded is so lauded, is so admirable. I'm narrow-minded. I'm amazing. Look how awesome I am. And I'm right.
I've made up my mind, and I know.
Yes. You're silly.
I've got it figured out.
Yeah, I've totally got it figured out. The rest of you are idiots because how I think is right. And that level of believing in your own belief and disbelieving everything else and not being open to consider anything is really boring. It's just boring. And if you want that, you can have that because you get to construct your world the way that you want.
Well, it makes you stuck in that really hard jello.
That's true.
Really, really hard
and
jello.
And it goes into the fixedness. You go back into the agreed upon tendencies. This is
so we're here to heat up. We're here to heat up some jello and melt it all down and add a little more water in.
Right.
A little more liquid.
Right, liquid. Melt it, turn it to jello water. Watch it run off. Maybe compost it.
Yeah.
Because gelatin it's just gelatin. It's just made from bones. That's totally not related.
Right? Bones,
but you know
isn't it funny?
It is funny.
Go ahead, get me sidetracked. Go ahead.
Sidetracked is fun. We're all
bones,
about
because people talk about being a hollow bone or things being written on your bones, and it's really funny that Jello is the gelatinous stuff that's boiled out of bones.
That's
Isn't
true.
That funny?
It is funny.
We're going to have to explore that sometime.
We are. That's going to be one of our conversations for another day.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we get that figured out.
If you're lucky. If we decide to share that. That's an interesting idea, though. Huh.
I know. Look at us going sideways.
Oh,
all right.
We're not sideways. We're opening our umbrellas.
Opening our umbrellas.
Let's talk about bones and gelatin and how it might relate to life.
Right?
Yeah.
The fixedness can be boiled down and separated out.
Right, and get all jelly. This. Oh, like she makes a really good bone broth. Really good. And
it's like Jello.
It is Jello. But then when you heat it up, it gets all brothy and it tastes delicious.
Yeah,
Look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
I know. So that's a whole nother class. Stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Or we won't.
So what do we get on your notes here?
So we were going to talk about constructions of how energy may work, because this class we do want to open up possibilities. That's important. So even if you get a little more curious and Google search something you've never Google searched before, or thought something and shared it, I don't know, like whatever. If this inspires you in any way, kudos. I'm so happy. I'm really happy that it did. And where we're going with the future classes is about energetic integrity. So we want to open up and broaden what's possible. And in that, we want to consider about how humans impact other humans. And there's a construction of reality. So this is, again, according to what I believe. It's just, it may be out there. You may think it's not real. That's fine. It's perfect. I just want to put the idea of what in my searching has worked for me. And it's that we're all connected. Humanity is almost like its own organism. And we, the idea of the collective unconscious, which is from Jung, the idea that there's some kind of unconsciousness that we all share that's like an internet between humans, and we don't even know we're doing it. It's subconscious or unconscious. It's under the surface. It's the idea of dreams, mythology. Joseph Campbell, the hero's myth, Star Wars leaks into that. So all of these things that innately make us human, that we share, that we don't talk about, we don't acknowledge, we may not even know are operating underneath the surface. And in that there's energy, and there's the idea that we have a physical body and we have a spirit, but we have an energy body and a light body, and we're all intricately, yes, that's the word, intricately connected, just like bones. Hey, we could go back to bones, like the skeleton system. So there's like a femur and there's humerus.
And then you flesh it out.
You flesh it out. You flesh out your bones.
Yeah, you put flesh on it.
Oh, you flesh it out. I thought you said you flesh it out, and I was back to the bone broth, fleshing out the bones.
Yeah. So
you can flesh them out or flush them out. There's some options, depending on whether you're creating new life or breaking it down. Which also goes into this class, because life is a cyclic renewal of energy. So we're all in my system, and Lissa, you agree with me or not?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, since we've had conversations about that, yeah. But the idea that we're all energetically connected, and what we do energetically with ourselves has an impact on our lives and people around us. And so if you want to own your own power and really bring in the whole field of what you are, you have to acknowledge that it's there. And so that's what the next class will be, is kind of a description, both what you know and then some of the things that may be lurking underneath. So that's something to bring up. And then the third class,
composting.
Yeah,
the alchemical process of composting.
Yeah. The idea that we're always in a cycle of life and death, that things are coming into the new and then old things are decaying. And how to move through energy besides just clearing or ignoring, to actually compost the things that are no longer in your life. It's a natural process that we're all doing anyway, so just to go into specifics, because if you know what's happening, it makes it a little bit less frightening, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And then the fourth class is about balancing, and then the fifth class,
the field of possibilities.
Right. And what would you say about the class of the fifth class?
The fifth class, I like to be able to get up into the Akashic realms, and we're all becoming familiar with the Akashic realms of the books of wisdoms, of things that have happened, things that have been written down in the book of life. There are some possibilities there, but in the Akashic realm, there's the library where all these books are. But if you get outside the library, there's an entire field of possibility. That the Akashic realm is much wider, more expanded than simply the library of facts and information. so we'll be exploring that a little bit, as we've been exploring that. This is something that we've been having fun exploring.
We've been doing some of our own umbrella, like opening it up and seeing where we end up, and we've ended up some amazing places, some very interesting.
Because we just go. We're willing to just go places. Like, wow, what if we go here? What if we go there?
Right. And
what if we knock on this door? Who answers? It's kind of fun.
So I do want to kind of tie in with the Akashic realm, because there will be people that know, people that know what that is, and other people that's outside of their pole. So if you want to know about the Akashic realm, that has to do with Edgar Casey was the first one to coin it, and if you do a Google term, that can be part of your umbrella expansion of just reading about the Akashic realm and seeing what you think about it or don't think about it, just kind of exploring with that. And it goes into that whole idea of having light bodies and energies and realms of reality that are beyond what our five senses pick up. If our eyes did not see color, color would cease to exist, or would it still exist? If your eyes only saw in black and white, my hair would look different to you, but it would still have its color. So there's things within this world that we don't see, we don't smell, we don't hear, we don't feel with our skin. We don't taste. Mm-hmm. So there's probably levels of reality that we're just not functionally designed to pick up on.
Or that we've been trained through recent systems to just forget about what's out there, because science is everything. Science knows everything.
Right?
Yes. We must be scientific.
Or maybe religion knows everything. So if it falls outside of religion, you might not, Right. So smelling was the first scent that it was ever developed. So if you think about, if the only scent you ever had was smelling, how much of the world you wouldn't know about? Like you wouldn't know about trees the way we know about trees. You wouldn't know the sky was blue. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't know what bone broth tastes like. You wouldn't be able to watch this YouTube video because you couldn't hear it and you can't smell it. So there would be no internet because there's no smell in internet. So there's certain scents. And I don't mean senses in smelling, although you're probably thinking that. I mean senses.
There's the extra senses that people talk about.
There are extra senses, and people are beginning to be... It's not
that have validity.
Yeah.
They are. They're just people. Some people have to scientifically prove it, but some people are just like, you know what, that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. You know, some people can see things that a lot of others don't see. Yeah, some people do hear things that a lot of people don't hear. And just because you or I may not be able to see them doesn't mean that someone else also doesn't see them.
Well, that's what I think a lot of art happens. In art,
Absolutely.
A lot of things get portrayed. It's like a truth that's beyond what we can talk about. And like really powerful. Like Mona Lisa's the painting of the Mona Lisa, I've read a lot of critiques on why it's so powerful. But there's something that speaks that's even beyond what we reason with, our words. You know, it's like this truth beyond that, right?
Well, he broke a lot of rules. There were rules about art at the time. My daughter studied art, and she is an artist, but there were certain rules that he broke. Like she was sitting a certain way, she was messy in a certain way. Her smile was like not how you're supposed to do that. So he broke a lot of rules with that painting. Right. And I can't tell you what it is because I don't have it, but you know, that's something to look up.
Well, I mean, it still resonates with people. Right. There's something about it that still resonates with people beyond just that breaking the rules of the day. There are some
people who feel like they have to see the Mona Lisa because that's what you do.
Right.
If you go to Paris, you have to go see that. You have certain things you have to go do.
Right, because it's fixed. It's agreed upon tendencies. Yeah. So there's certain things you do. If you go to Paris, you go to the Louvre and you see the Mona Lisa.
You stand in line with everybody else.
Where you can't really get that close, and it has to be protected with special glass so that it doesn't fade.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're going off topic, but hopefully it'll stretch your brain. Maybe it won't.
So, open your umbrella.
Open your umbrella.
Loosen up your jello.
So, this is the beginning. We've kind of gone over the classes. I hope you had a good time. This has been fun.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Or we won't, but have a great day.
Yep.
Bye.